So my name is Кейт Uotterс. I'm the Executive Director of Crude Accountability, and I am one of the co-founders of Crude. We started working in 2003 in the Caspian and Black Sea regions, working with communities that have been impacted by oil and gas development, particularly Western oil and gas development, but really monitoring the impacts on communities, on the environment, and on the ecosystem of the Caspian and Black Seas.
Investigative journalism can be used as a tool for change. One of your jobs as a journalist is to give voice to the voiceless. In 2014, a number of school children and teachers all fainted, had seizures, had strange medical episodes. That was traumatic. But as one activist put it to me, it's not just a problem of health, it's also a problem of a loss of homeland. Because after this situation happened, all of the people who lived in Berezovka were relocated. This community that was once very communal, very strong, became fragmented. In the early 2000s, there was another community called Sarikamis, which was located closer to the Tengiz oil field, which is managed by Chevron. That community was relocated as a result of medical issues as well. And there was a prominent ecologist at the time who directly tied the emissions from the Tengiz oil field to these sicknesses the people were enduring. Berezovka, I believe, is the second major incident of this happening. So if this were to happen again, it would certainly indicate a pattern.
So we founded Crude Accountability in 2003 to work with local communities that were suffering from the negative impacts of oil and gas development in the Caspian Sea. And what we noticed was that while international consortia of oil companies, international financial institutions, governments were all working in tandem to create these massive projects that had huge impact from the very beginning on the environment and on communities, were left out in the cold. So we started working with activists, with NGOs, with international activists, with local community members to try and offset and to educate people, really. That was the very first thing, was to educate people about what those impacts were and what recourse they had to fight back, to defend their rights, to protect their environment, to take care of their health, their children, their families. There were a number of successes both on the national level and also on the international level. There were 3 complaints from Karachaganak, from Berezovka, that were submitted to the Ombudsman's Office of the IFC. What was discovered was actually that KPO, the company, the consortium at the Karachaganak field, was out of compliance with IFC standards. They were emitting emissions from their stacks that were not properly retrofitted, and that would never have been discovered if those complaints had not been filed. So that was major. And after the retrofitting of those stacks, even though the emissions continued, they were at a lower level than before, so people were safer.
There's not enough data out there that's made public to the people, differentiating the effects of each of these facilities and industries. It's hard to pinpoint who's creating the most harm, and it's hard to hold them accountable because of that reason.
The definition of ecocide is when we know that whatever is being done has the effect of destroying the environment, right? Or destroying the area around where the acts are being committed. We know that oil and gas extraction is detrimental to ecosystems, to the animals and plants that live there. The flora and fauna are impacted. We know that emissions and other pollution from oil and gas development is harmful to humans. So ecocide is absolutely an appropriate term for what's happening in the Caspian region, and we need to act now so that there is not a complete and total ecocide of the Caspian Sea basin. So what we see with this incredibly energetic new generation of environmental activists in Central Asia and Kazakhstan and really around the world, climate activists, is a reliance on data. And that is so important. We need to use the data, we need to demand access to data, we need to refute arguments that science isn't important. Science is critically important, and we have the information, we have the ability to track what's happening environmentally, and we need to use that. And to work together to hold the oil companies accountable. It's unsustainable what they're doing, and we have to stop them sooner rather than later. This is why I am proud to be part of the Save the Caspian Sea campaign.